Well, a very good afternoon. Welcome to a wet and very windy Les Sables d'Olonne this afternoon. Out of the doldrums at the front of the fleet, coming into a stronger southeasterly trade winds. Not the case for us here. We're seeing big gale force winds. The first big storm of the winter, Caetano, is the storm name. So apologies if you hear a little bit of background wind and rain. Our guest today, we have Lija, who's the Chinese double Olympic sailing medalist, winner of a bronze in Beijing, a gold in Weymouth. She's a big sailing hero in China. She's doing some great media work also. We're going to connect her hopefully to Jackie, to Jingkun. And I say both are doing great work popularising sailing and ocean racing in China. Lily, how are you this morning?
Andy. Hello everyone, I'm Lija, and I'm now in Shanghai, China. And there are a lot of Chinese following the Vendée Globe as well, especially for this edition, since we have the first ever Chinese skipper.
And what have you been up to recently? You've been doing some ocean racing or offshore sailing yourself?
Yeah, I'm personally being inspired by so many Vendée Globe skippers. As a dinghy sailor, of course, it's our dream to sail around the world, not to mention participating in those professional offshore events like the Vendée Globe and the ocean race, etc. But I wasn't able to do that because of lots of injuries the previous few years, and starting to do a little bit more gradually, especially this year. I've done 3 offshore 600 nautical mile event. The first one was from Newport to Bermuda, the second at Yijin 600, and I've just finished the one in China around Hainan Island. I really enjoy those offshore as well as the dinghy Olympics, which I used to do a lot. I hope that I can explore more and maybe do longer passage gradually.
So we also got Alan Roberts with us, co-skipper for Justine Mettraux. Alan, a quick hello. I'm going to go straight to Justine Mettraux, who's on board Teamwork Team SNEF this morning. Justine, how are things? How's your doldrums going?
Yeah, it's good. Hi, I'm very good. So I'm actually down. A few small clouds around, but it's looking like it's going the right way.
Position in the fleet at the moment, Justine, is going very well.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's always a tough going to choose where you enter, but then you never really know what's going to happen. But I'm quite happy with where it went and with my position now. I've been doing one of the fleet, so I can't complain, and I didn't stop too much, so it's not too bad doldrums for me.
And Justine, how much do you look at the boats round about you on AIS and on the tracker in this situation, in the doldrums?
Yeah, you look for sure. You look at the different rankings to know a bit, you know, who had wind and who not. And I was kind of lucky. I had the by my side. I still have him on the AIS now. So for like the second part of the doldrum, he was around as well. So it's a good way to accuracy is okay. While the other one is doing. So it's been nice as well to have him around.
And what about the South Atlantic? We're seeing a low pressure developing off Cabo Frio. Is that a possibility for you? It's a race against time.
Yeah, I will started checking this a bit more precisely this morning, and I will continue now with the new weather coming out around this time. Yeah, we'll see. It's still a few days ago, but for sure you have to start thinking about the strategy for that path now. So yeah, I was quite busy with the doldrums, and I didn't spend enough time yet making a read call, but I have more or less of an idea of what I want to do.
And how are you feeling mentally and physically? It's been pretty intense doldrums, or have you had some sleep?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite okay. I still managed to find some little patch of sleep when conditions were steady enough. I took like 20 minutes here and there, so and now the conditions are starting to be steady as well, so I'm gonna go get some rest as well.
Fantastic, Justine. A privilege to talk with you. I hope you get out of the doldrums quick and get on the train as fast as you can. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
So it's Justine Mettraux on board Teamwork Team SNEF. Alan Roberts, what do you think of Justine's course so far?
Yeah, hi Andy. I think Justine's doing a fantastic job as quite a few the whole bunch of skippers in that leading group. It's been a really interesting strategy. The choice was made obviously a few days ago as to how far west the boats would go, and we've seen this morning or last night Thomas Ruyon has done a brilliant job and come out ahead of the bunch. He was the boat furthest west, so the options were the further east you were, you probably had a longer distance to cross the doldrums, a bit less breeze, and the further west you were, you had to invest earlier on, so it looked worse on the tracker, but you spent less time and less wind, so you could get through quicker. And now the boats are going to be coming out of the doldrums. It's going to be a race, as you say, to get down south to find the next weather system. It's been hard to predict how they would cross the doldrums. It's been really squally. 1 minute they could be under a huge cloud with no wind, or they could be out the front of it in 30 knots of breeze. So I think Justine's one of the sailors that's sniggled through quite nicely, and she's been in a nice battle alongside Sam Davies and Clarice.
And how is Clarice today? Have you spoken to her last night, or? Yeah,
Clarice is on good form. There's been a few little issues to solve, but I'm sure it's been the same for all the skippers. Their focus has been preparing the boats now for the next weather system and getting any work they can do done, alongside trying to get little naps in. We heard there from Justine, she's been getting 20-minute naps in, and that's just because it's the clouds that have been rolling through. 1 minute they'll have no wind, which means they have to adjust the sails all the time and try and keep the boat moving in the right direction, and the next minute they've got 30 knots. So the kind of the two extremes, there's no time to really sleep, so they've all been trying to optimize their sleep patterns in between the clouds.
And how's your sleep pattern?
My sleep pattern, I can't complain. It's better than they'll have at sea.
Great stuff, Alan. We'll come back to you in a few minutes. You're going to explain exactly what the doldrums are for our viewers who maybe don't know. We're online with Jingkun, who's our Chinese skipper. How are you today? We've got Lily with us in Shanghai, who's going to say a quick hello.
金坤你好。
你好，丽佳。
哇，很开心啊！虽然说是我们距离比较遥远，但是能够跟你这样连线，还是非常非常高兴的。其实旺代开赛也已经有10多天的时间了，我们都是每天通过你的一些视频来了解你的近况，看到你其实心情非常的好，一直跟大家分享日出和日落。那来跟我们讲讲你目前身体和自己一些风力啊，包括身边船上的一些情况吧。
那个我们目前从出发到现在，整个船只的状况都非常的棒。我们的赛船在出发之前做了大量的准备工作，所以非常的充分。所以你也可以看到，在出发以后，其实很多船都出现了大小各种各样的不同的问题，但是我们的赛船一直非常的稳定，这一点非常的好。然后对于我的身体，现在就是在出发以后到现在，出了一点点的小状况，就是在出发的当天，我的脚踝扭伤了。当然，现在已经有了很大的好转。再就是我的右肩膀有一个老伤，一直还在困扰着我。但是都没有什么特别大的问题，并不影响航行。在过去的一段时间里边，我们经历了马尾度的无风带，所以海上的风浪变得小了很多，所以这样我有很多的时间可以去拍摄一些视频分享给大家。当然，从昨天开始，海上的风力就已经开始增强了。 像我们现在的海上的实时的风力有15节左右，我们的船速也是差不多有15节的船速，所以15、16节的船速。那么接下来一段时间，我们的就要恢复到比赛和航行当中了，所以美好的时光可能就要结束了，而且我们新的挑战就要开始了。所以从昨天开始，我就开始在做好应对风力提升的准备了，准备好迎接这个比赛回来。
Lily, give us a summary of what Jackie's saying then.
Yeah, sure. I asked Jackie how he feels and then the condition about his body, his health, his mood, and then his boat. He said he had spent a lot of time in preparation for the boat in good condition. So despite the fact that some skippers or some boat had some issue with the equipment, his boat is sound and good. That's a very good thing, so that he can continue his journey. And then in terms of his body, obviously many people know that he twisted his ankle on the day of the start, which sort of stopped him to move around as much as he can. But now his ankle is getting better and better. He can maneuver and walk to all parts of the boat. And then the other thing is he suffered a little bit from the old injury on his shoulder, which sort of stopped him doing as many adjustment or upper body movement as he wanted. But overall, he's in very good mood, and as we can see from his daily video, he's sharing the beautiful scenes with the sunset and sunrise, and then his mood, and then all those little things how he spent the lives on the boat, and he shared a lot of stories with the Chinese. That's all.
Ask him how important it is sharing these stories with the Chinese people, and how does he feel a responsibility to millions of people?
金坤，安迪问你，你觉得通过这一次忘带的赛事，能够给到中国的大众带去一些什么样特别有意义的事情呢？
我觉得最主要的就是这样会让越来越多的中国的朋友们能够开始了解到离岸航海因为在这之前，无论是离岸航海还是 Vendée Global， 可能对于很多中国的航海爱好者们都是一个未知的东西。现在我们就在这个比赛当中，我们有了自己的船队，我们可以亲身的去把一些经历、感受，还有一些画面能够传输回去，让越来越多的人开始了解到这个比赛的魅力，也了解到 offshore 航海的这种魅力。所以我觉得未来可以期待，就是我们肯定能够看到越来越多的人可以去加入到这项运动当中，并且能够看到越来越多的中国的优秀的水手能够加入到 Vendée Global 这样的比赛当中，我希望。
Yeah. So Jackie says through his participating in this Vendée Globe, he's sure he can inspire a lot of Chinese, not only getting to know the sport of sailing, the offshore sailing, but also having the strong will to try out, to pick up sailing. And then truly, I have the same feeling. So while I'm living in China now, every so often I get asked by non-sailing people how the route of the Vendée Globe is like, how the skippers live on a boat 24 hours, 7 days, non-stop. How do they eat? How do they shower? Everything. So certainly there's a huge amount of curiosity increased during this period since after the start of the Vendée Globe. Andy?
Fantastic. Lily, just ask him what's on the menu in terms of wind and weather for the next 24 hours for him.
金坤安迪还有一个问题就是，在接下来24个小时当中，你觉得天气的情况怎么样？最大的挑战又来自于哪里？
目前还好，因为我们目前刚刚离开这个无风区，当然，其实现在我们正在往赤道靠近。就整体上，在未来的24小时内，风力还是一个偏小的一个风力，虽然已经在开始起风了，但是就是现在还是一个比较中小风的这样一个天气的情况，在未来24到48小时之内都会是这样一个情况。 所以我们现在还是在一个循序渐进的一个过程，慢慢的开始往南大洋靠近，开始跨越赤道，所以大概就这个样子风力目前就这样。
Yeah, Jackie says he has just passed some knowing area and now still approaching the equator, and then hopefully he can sail past this equator as quickly as he can. Though he's prepared to face some more wind holes and some squally weather or some rainy weather with lots of cloud condition, etc. And then he's also prepared to the challenge of the Southern Ocean.
So it's a little bit of a long way ahead from him. But Jackie, thank you so much. Good speed. Have a good day. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Lija. Bye-bye.
So Lily, just give us an idea then of what following Jackie has in China.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, these days I've been asked by so many people, what's Vendée Globe? How do they sail around the world? How would it be possible for them to survive sailing around the world? And then it's a good thing that through Vendée Globe, more and more Chinese not only started to be interested in getting to know more about sailing, but also many kids writing to Jackie and hoping to get some words and then sending him best wishes, etc. And then I think, yeah, through this event, hopefully there can be more and more Chinese participating in sailing for the future.
And are there a younger generation of sailors already inspired by Jackie?
Yes, certainly. And for my generation, when I started sailing, there are only maybe a few dozens of sailors doing dinghies. And then since after my gold medal in London 12 years ago, more and more clubs, mariners set up, and then as well as more teenagers trying to learn sailing. And then these years, actually, not only the Route de Rome, those offshore, many people start to follow Jackie and get to know a bit more about offshore sailing. And then since after the Vendée Globe, millions and millions of people following Jackie's daily video. And I hope this English version video can be broadcasted in China as well. And so, yeah, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, and more Chinese will be inspired to sailing, to our big sailing family.
Fantastic. We'll come back to you in a few seconds. Let's look at the weather as of this morning for the leaders coming out of the doldrums this morning. This is the weather. So wet and windy morning here in Les Sables d'Olonne, unfortunately, but the leaders emerging out of the doldrums. Let's look first of all at our 3D animation, which really rounds up what's been happening over the last 24 hours. Sam Goodchild out in the lead early on. Thomas Riong well out to the west, about 80 miles to the west, and this is when the doldrum activity is at the worst. Sam getting out quite nicely, but in the end, Thomas Riong taking the lead as of the first thing this morning, but only about 50 miles between first and 10th at the moment. So looking now at the cloud cover just gives you a clearer picture of what's going on with the more cloud here slightly to the east of the main group. Thomas Riong out there and has just appeared out of the doldrums this morning. Now looking at our animation, we can just, so this is the situation just now with Thomas Riong here coming out. Let's quickly run it forward very slightly. We can just see the boat start to move hopefully, and I just run this like that. We can see the main thing now is the two leading boats are trying to get down to the low pressure system which is developing down here off of Cabo Frio, and we're seeing them having to get down to that point down here, which will be round about Sunday morning. John Le Cam in the east having a little bit of a possibility of catching up with a more direct course. But really this is the key moment, say Sunday at some point. We start to get onto this low pressure train. It's really important that we get that the boats get onto this train. If they miss that, then the opportunity to go fast to the southeast is very much lost. So you can just see that happening just now. I say, so it's a big race against time down to Sunday. So not plain sailing at all in the doldrums. Now, Alan Roberts, we have a big, broad, worldwide audience for this show. Not everybody are sailing geeks and sailing fans. Explain to us, what are the doldrums, what are the challenges, and how do they occur?
Yeah, so the doldrums, I guess you've probably heard, is a bit of a sailor's legend. It's an area in the world where the winds are tricky and people generally get lost. I guess basically what the doldrums is the meteorological equator of the planet. It's where the northern hemisphere winds change to the southern hemisphere winds. So it's an area across, here we're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, where the sea heats up from the sun, so it's the hottest part. That air then rises, very humid air. When that air rises, it forms clouds and a lot of instability. So what does that mean? That means that when the clouds build, they get bigger and bigger, and every now and again they release. So there's a lot of rain. When they release, there's a lot of downpour, not just from the water, but also from the wind that comes out of the cloud. So it's a huge dump onto the surface of the sea. Other things that can happen is with all these clouds, there can be a huge amount of static that's created. So you can get thunderstorms around this area, which is where the legend comes from of this being an area of the world that's difficult and boats generally get lost in. So the border between this meteorological equator, we have north of it the trade winds that the guys have been sailing down in. This time the trade winds have been very small. And when they traverse the doldrums, they then go into what we call the southern trade, so the wind going from the opposite direction. The further west you cross the doldrums, the narrower they are. So the game that the guys have been playing has been to invest west early, to make a loss initially, to hopefully make a gain later. Or the flip side of that is the John Le Cam side, which is to try and cut the cheese in two, as the French would say, and take a shorter route and hope that you cross the doldrums with ease. So that's the tricky balance that the skippers have had to play. They're the tricky conditions that they've had to deal with, and they'll be pretty happy to get out of this zone of instability and into more constant trade winds in the south to look to pick up the next weather system.
Anyway, hopefully in 4 years' time, Alan, you'll be in the midst of the doldrums.
Or just exiting it ahead of the fleet.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day. And Lily, also, thank you so much for joining us in China. Let's have a look at some plain sailing with Conrad Coleman. He's showing us some very nice drone footage on board MS Amlin.
Hello and welcome aboard MS Amlin Air. That's right, this is Conrad Coleman, your captain speaking. Got the drone out today to give you a little idea about what my life is like here. So, most beautiful boat in the fleet. Yeah, not that I'm biased, but here we go, cruising along under spinnaker. Right now it's sort of 12 to 13 knots of wind. Boat speed is sort of 13 to 15. So even though it looks pretty cruisy, we're still moving along just fine. Of the spinnaker, 360 square meters, J3, the little staysail down in the corner, and then the full main of 155 square meters of 40 sailcloth technology. So this is the absolute maximum surface area of sail that I can put up, and that's good too because I need all the power I can feel. Conditions are certainly on the milder side, certainly not wild at all. But you can see here the way that the rig works with the jockey poles out the back, the deck spreaders in the middle, and then as we cruise up over here, you can see the 31 Solbian solar panels that are keeping this boat up and running. But 11 days of sailing, and I have never turned on the engine so far, and never plan on doing so. We cruise on down this way, you can see that that's right, only bubbles are in my wake, and it is beautiful here with this crazy sunshine, super powerful, lighting up that spinnaker. Now, all good things coming to an end, and that's right, this flight is coming to an end as well. Maybe I'll do a future video on how to fly drones off race boats, just in solo mode. But I've always got the heart in my mouth when I turn into land, and as you can see, line it up, Let's go. And total commitment time. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, catch.
So Conrad Coleman, Mr. Sustainability. Conrad, the first Vendée Globe skipper to sail round the world with no fossil fuels. He's trying to do the same again, as he said, though this time the rules state that he has to have a diesel generator, and so he's going round with the full capacity of diesel, and he's going to try and finish without using the engine at all. Our main focus tomorrow on tomorrow's programme is sustainability, so do join us then. In the meantime, thank you so much to Alan Roberts in Lorient and Lily in Shanghai. Do hopefully both see you, Alan, back on an Imoca, and hopefully for this first time at some point in the near future, Lily will go Imoca sailing. So join us tomorrow.